guys, this is Amanda.
And this is Nathan.
And welcome back to the Independence Money Show. We got a special interview today on, you've heard us talk about a lot about Lode. So yeah, you want to do some introductions?
Yeah, this is Nick Prouton with the COO of the Lode project. And we've got him for some of the frequently asked questions, both from our viewers. And then also I'm part of a Telegram channel that I kind of read the news on the Lode project. And I've seen some of those kind of pop up as well. So thanks for your time, Nick. I know you're busy and I appreciate it.
No, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. I wish I got to speak with people like yourself more often. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, I guess for the people that may be just brand new to Lode, let's just quickly establish what the project is, what its role in the marketplace is, and then we'll get into the value it's going to have in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, at this point, the project scope is massive, but Lode really started out as a project that was looking to restore silver and gold to the monetary system as currency in our day-to-day life. And to do this, what we've done is we've created an entire ecosystem of financial tools and solutions with silver and gold at their very core. We produce two stablecoin assets for those who are familiar with crypto terminology there, two digital assets that are backed by physical representations of silver and gold. The first of which is our AGX, that's our digital silver, and then our AUX coin, which is our digital gold. We also have our Lode token, which is how individuals can claim their stake in the project and receive the benefit, the financial benefit and utility of the ecosystem as it grows and gets bigger and bigger. And we produce our own mobile wallet technology so people can actually use these currencies, use this digital gold and silver functionally in their day-to-day lives. And if you've been in the project for a long time, you know pretty much where we're at, but we have so many exciting developments that are coming up, not the least of which is our new wallet, which will be coming out in June. So, and we've got so much more, but really the heart and soul of it is about making silver and gold practical in your day-to-day life as currency, as sound and honest and inflation-resistant money. So back over to you, Nathan.
Yeah, so I mean, I know we talk a lot about the devaluation of the fiat currency, you know, the dollar and a lot of the other, you know, countries that are just issuing debt and printing a lot of money. So I know we all invest to counteract that, the devaluation of inflation. But investing really probably should be long-term. But if you're saving up to buy something, say, shorter term, that's where the pain point of holding it in dollars really comes into play.
Yeah, we've had a lot of viewers struggling lately, especially how the markets are going, the crypto market, the stock market. You know, that's not really somewhere you want to put your money now that if you got bills to pay in 6 months, it's more of a very long-term investment, and also keeping cash in the bank. So a lot of people are losing value in the cash in the bank. So this is kind of an alternative that we came across that we really like.
And that's really how I came to be, is like, I know we talk about buying international real estate and stuff, and you have to make installments on that real estate as the house is being built with the developer we kind of talk about. And so I kind of looked at this project like, hey, look, that's where I can store some, you know, the rest of the construction cost for the near term without losing 15% of its value in the bank due to the valuation of the currency, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I really agree with that sentiment. I mean, we look at where I live in Canada by itself. We've seen an inflation of a generic inflation of around 8%, but for things like food and gas, well over 18% lost this year, right? So, you know, that kind of thinking and logic is really core to what the project is really all about, and trying to provide that what we call honest money solution for people, because, you know, I don't think we can at this point honestly say that we can trust the people in any government, not just Canadian government or the United States government, to manage the situation.
Yeah, inflation is happening across the world at all these rates. So
yeah.
When he said it's honest money, I want to ask the question what dishonest money means, but we'll skip that one. So you mentioned the new wallet. Tell me how that works for commerce. Do you have like a Visa debit card, or is it linked to Apple or Google Pay?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the new wallet is going to have an abundance of new features. What we're going to be launching in June is the core of the wallet. This is going to have a built-in decentralized trading experience right into it. So if you are already a crypto holder, crypto believer, and you want to trade, but take your wins in, say, gold or silver versus taking it in something like USDC. And now you have that ability through the Lode app. That's going to be one of the first core features that come out. Now, obviously, this gold and silver is all, hearsay and speculation unless you can actually use it as functional currency. So we are working on a debit credit card program that will allow users to directly pay at the point of sale with their gold. So not having to load up a card with a balance of US dollars and then spend it, but actually I'm going to the grocery store. I have 100 AGX coins. I want to go buy this Apple or whatever. And when I swipe my card, it's pulling directly from my AGX balance. That's the technology that we're working on right now. We do have some tentative partners for that, but it's important to understand with these debit Visa card programs, it's not like we just do it ourselves, right? There are program managers and banking partners behind them, and all of this takes a lot of negotiation and a lot of I will say administration and capital to put forward together. So our prospective partner would allow us to launch this new card program in Canada, the United States, Latin America, and Europe. And that's extremely rare to have a program that can hit all markets simultaneously. So we're very, very excited about that. And that program will come out probably 60 to 80 days after we release the core of the wallet. So really excited to be bringing that feature forward as well. And we have even more. I don't want to eat up too much time. I'll toss the mic back to you in a sec, but there's a lot of exciting things happening in the decentralized finance space right now. Things like short-term loans, getting yield from liquidity pools. There was the GSDL project that Lode worked with at the beginning of the year that is also launching as well. So there's going to be like I said before, a whole ecosystem of financial tools and solutions, with gold and silver being the assets that underpin all of it. So I know that was a big pill to swallow, so I apologize. Back over to you.
No, but I think it's great. And I think that's what a lot of crypto investors are struggling with right now is, I've made all these gains, but like, what do I do with them? I can't just go to the grocery store and spend them. I have to bring them back somehow.
Yeah, and I think for those crypto advocates out there watching as well, I think there's a really big felt need for what we're doing right now. We've seen what happened with Terra and just how a lot of these fiat-backed, these government money-backed stable coins can just collapse under the right circumstances, which is a lot different than something like AGX and AUX, which is collateralized by real physical silver and gold. And there's a lot of volatility, a lot of rug pulls, a lot of distrust in the market right now because crypto is still really young in terms of a technology and in terms of an industry. So we're doing our best to bring more in the way of transparency forward. So getting our contracts audited by our smart contracts audited by the biggest auditors in the space. We work with Bureau Veritas when it comes to the auditing of our physical gold and silver. We're working on using an NFT solution to illustrate to people the exact holdings of what's in our vaults, and also using that as a way to help people redeem specific bars of physical gold and silver and not just treat the AGX and the AUX as unallocated bullion. So it's interesting, because we're playing in a field that is really so innovative and young, and there's a lot of different ways to go about things. And once the core of this wallet and the core of this ecosystem is released in June, and then we can really start having fun. And I do mean that fun. I find the innovation very entertaining. We can have fun with how do we maximize the experience for people? How do we bring forward that transparency? How do we find more ways for people to engage with the product and with our solutions and so on and so forth?
Hey there. We hope you're enjoying the interview. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to Independence Money's YouTube channel. And check out our website, independence-money.com, to find our merch and learn more about our services. Thank you. Now back to the interview.
The key thing you mentioned is the money is actually in the vault. It's physical metal backing up these tokens. They're not a peg to the price.
Yeah, that's it is true. I mean, all of our AGX and AUX, this is a little bit different from how many other silver gold projects in the market behave. They're actually derivatives, meaning that they don't necessarily have to have their supply on hand when they mint you an asset. So it's more fractional banking. It's more I don't want to talk smack about anybody, but to use a phrase, it's more what is it, blind leading the blind, so to speak. It's more of the same problem, and that's fine. That solution works for somebody, but we are big believers in making sure that we don't mint any of our assets with respect to the ones that are precious metals backed, unless we already have the physical silver and gold vaulted ourselves. And that's a huge difference. So at no point is any of our currency derivative or unbacked when it comes to our AGX and our AUX, and they're stored in I believe six vaults around the world right now. So we try to take a decentralized approach to our holdings as well. So there's no, one key reserve that, let's say the US government could say, oh, we're going to claw back some gold here. And, we're protected and mitigated in that way. And as I said before, we are insured, and we do have, very widely regarded auditors, overseeing the vaults and ensuring that there's that integrity there.
We're speaking at the Silver Symposium. I know David Morgan has talked about Lode before. Silver Symposium on August 30th and 31st.
Yeah, we'll be there.
In Spokane on some tax strategies. And we're going to see if we can hop over to Coeur d'Alene and get a vault tour of some of the Lode metals that is held in that vault, right?
That's great. I personally won't be in attendance, but I know that we will have representation down there with one of our ambassadors. And I know that David Morgan, who is an ambassador himself for the project, and longtime advocate for this, has been there since the founding days. As you said, we'll be there as well. So, let me know how the tour goes. I hope you guys get it.
So a couple questions there on, how do they get the metal to create the tokens? They have, chicken and the egg, they have to have the metal there in the vault first. How do they afford the technology to build this platform? There's something besides AGX and AUX that you guys are working on, right?
Yeah. So as I mentioned way back at the start of the interview there, we have our Lode token. This is what we like to call as our stakeholder asset, or really it's a utility asset that enables you to get the full advantage of the Lode ecosystem. In its earliest days, when the project was first starting out, the only way to buy a Lode token was to actually deliver physical silver and gold to the vault. That was in its earliest inceptions how we got the silver and gold in our vaults in order to run the operations, create initial batches of AGX and AUX and put them into circulation, right? And the benefit of being a Lode token holder is that you get 100% of the profits that Lode produces. Now we're not quite profitable yet. We're still in what I would call a growth stage as a company, which is very normal with many project cycles if you look at traditional venture capital. But we are getting closer every day, and to sort of stave off that sort of waiting period for profitability, the Lode token holders get a payout, a regular micro payout every 52 days in AGX based on the amount of silver and gold that we sell into circulation. So you're getting constant payouts in physical, in our AGX token every 52 days. And so you get those, but then as the ecosystem grows, more trading volume comes online, new revenue streams open up, we find new partners, new businesses, new distribution channels, all of those, all of that business in turn comes back to you, the Lode token holder, which is a pretty powerful premise. Lode tokens in our new app as well are going to give you the ability to unlock cool things like better trading fees, get access to cool super premium cold storage metal cards that have that debit card program that we were talking about on it. So there's going to be a whole world of utility for these Lode tokens, but at their very core, you can always rest assured that you're going to receive any profits distributions from Lode, and of course those regular micro payouts.
Yeah, I really like that Lode token aspect. Full disclosure, we both have invested in the Lode project. I like it because it's kind of like a stock in your company in a traditional sense, and allows investors to, invest in something they believe in. And I also like the function. It's pretty much like a dividend, but a dividend in silver or gold tokens. So that's pretty cool. But, one other question we had for you was the mines. We heard David Morgan talking about how you guys were participating in mines, and that's how you were getting some of this gold and silver.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really early days right now, but of course, the margins on silver and gold traditionally are not huge. We're not sitting there being like, yes, let's jack up the price. You see, the reality is margins in precious metals are like oftentimes as low as 0.5%, right? So the alternative to make it viable and sustainable for a business to run this way is to go straight to the source and see if you can actually acquire metals at under spot rate. And so we have some fantastic relationships within the mining industry, thanks to individuals like David Morgan and some of our other ambassadors and founders. And we're working on relationships in Mexico right now with prospective suppliers, miners, refiners, and so on and so forth to produce investment grade and certified good delivery bars for Lode. And that would be a fantastic upgrade to our system as well, because that would mean that we could also start stamping and producing our own physical Lode bars. So that's a really exciting development. As I mentioned before, it is early days. We have some fantastic bullion providers as it stands that try to give us as competitive rates as they possibly can. Of course, themselves understanding that they are a business, but the Lode mining venture is coming to life right now as we speak, and into the third and fourth quarter of this year. And it's our hope by the end of the year that Lode will be able to considerably improve its supply chain when it comes to the acquisition of new silver and gold.
That is super exciting. I know Mexico is one of the biggest silver producers. We both love Mexico. Speaking of going south of the border, I think it was last year, El Salvador did a pretty interesting thing with the Bitcoin as currency. Do you ever see a time where this could be another alternative to a fiat-based currency, but that maybe a little less volatile than Bitcoin? Could AGX or AUX possibly show up in a country as a reserve currency?
Absolutely. I definitely foresee that as something. And we do have discussions with a lot of different governments. For example, we actually had the privilege of flying down to El Salvador to speak with the El Salvadorian government about the benefits of AGX and AUX. It's important to understand, especially in these development nations, that that there is a learning curve here, right? We in the Western world and in sort of the more developed nations have a great deal of education and a great deal of buying power. And so there's this understanding and learning curve that we've gone through with how Bitcoin and how blockchain works. And a lot of these in the more developing nations, that education isn't there yet. So users are still individuals and citizens of those countries are still acclimatizing to even what blockchain is and what Bitcoin is. And there's still a long way to go there. So it's very, very early days. And I do foresee that, in the future, solutions, stable coins, rather than something like Bitcoin, will become a much more preferable solution. I think what El Salvador did was really bold. I think Panama as well recently also took a similar step. But what we saw is that as soon as the market goes bearish, your margins collapse, and that puts you, the average person, at risk. Right, which is again what this project is really all about, is about protecting people and protecting their wealth. So I think as those kinds of situations continue to happen, doors will continue to open up. And this is part of the reason why we're laying foundations right now in Central America, with not just Mexico, but El Salvador and hopefully many other regions down there as well.
I think that's one of the things we talked about, as you mentioned, on the Lode tokens, is bringing a solution to the unbanked. The amount of people that aren't in the current banking system.
Yeah, we've done a lot of videos on that, about the millions of people, mostly in Latin America and Africa, that are severely unbanked. So I think this was a great solution that they've been bringing to people as well.
And the developing countries, we're exporting our inflation to them. So we're hurting them even more with our excessive money printing. And that's why I think, I'd love to see the day where we can help out the unbanked and the underprivileged with honest money.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, the unbanked is a really interesting, really interesting concept. It's a tough walnut to crack for a number of reasons. For one, with most blockchain and most investing or financial ecosystems, it requires identification. Lots of these people don't have any identification, or this is their first instance with coming into them, which is part of the reason why Lode took a non-custodial route with its wallet, so that we didn't have this onus of having to know who an individual was, which actually helps us get in with the unbanked much easier. We're working on direct cash to digital solutions with companies that are similar to 7-Eleven, for example. So you go into your local bodega or your local market, you give them some cash and they would actually load up your wallet with AGX. So overcoming some of these barriers where people may not have access to the same tools or resources, or they're working from a much lower situation in the world. And when it comes to financial accessibility, it's a really challenging but rewarding walnut to crack. And we think that the partners that we're coming forward right now and that we're establishing are going to play a really important role in doing that and providing that for the people who really need it most. Because let's face it, we live pretty comfortable lives here in the Western world. Not everybody, obviously, but I think our quality of life on the whole is much greater than that of your average person living in some of these nations, in developing nations. So it feels really rewarding to have the opportunity to play a role in solving that and giving people access to that kind of solution.
That's news to me. That is super exciting, Nick. I know when I was in Progreso earlier this year, it's a little fishing beach town in the Yucatan. I needed to pay my attorney in Merida, and I went to the OXXO, and like you said, deposited money with the attendant there. It cost like 12 cents to send it to him. You compare that to in America, where we've got Mexican citizens that are working here and they're sending money back home via Western Union. It's like 8% fees. That would be awesome if you could facilitate that service, save them some money. And of course, as Lode token holders, that would be more profits for the company.
Yeah. I mean, it's really is what I like to think of as a win-win-win situation, right? And yeah, I mean, the cross-border remittances is a huge area for many nations, not just Mexico, where people are getting gouged, right? Like people come to developed nations to create a better life for themselves, and they try to send it back home, and then you have these companies that are just absolutely torching their paycheck, which is already pretty small to begin with. And blockchain, this is one of the pivotal things that blockchain is really about. It's about getting rid as many of those middlemen as possible, so that you, the individual, can receive more value. And that's something that we try to keep close to us as we grow this project.
Yeah, well, I love this project. I think it could revolutionize the world. But yeah, do we want to let the people know how to get in contact if they have any questions?
Sure.
Yeah, so you can either contact us, or I'm pretty, he probably doesn't want to be contacted. You're busy enough.
Maybe he's got some people that can help. We don't make any money on talking about Lode. It's just a fascinating project. So you can get us a team at independence-money.com, or check out the Silver Symposium, where we'll be speaking. Would love to meet any of our viewers there. And then Nick, if somebody wants to reach out to Lode, either ask questions or get an assistant and open an account, how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the easiest way to get in touch with us is obviously just head over to lode.one. That's LODE.ONE. And we have a live chat support system that will put you in touch with a real human being, not a robot, real human being who can, bring you up to speed with, the who, what, where, when, and how about Lode. That being said, we have a fantastic ambassador team as well. If you're more of an old school, pick up the phone, hey, how you doing kind of guy, you can reach out to Tom H at Lode.one. He is one of our ambassadors, and he's absolutely fantastic and loves chatting with people about what's going on with Lode. So again, that's Tom H at Lode.one. I always welcome a friendly hello as well. My email address is nickp at Lode.one. And you know, always happy to answer some questions for new or existing members of the community. You know, you guys mentioned a couple times during the call today that you guys were invested in the project yourself, and you know, to you and to anybody else listening out there as well, you know, thank you guys so much for your continued faith in the project. And we're getting ready to launch the liquidity for Lode in the month of June. And this is a huge leap forward for the project, right? We're basically taking Lode to the masses, and it's because of people like you that we're able to do this and able to create an ecosystem that is changing the world. So thank you guys so much.
One last question. How did we get the title of Lode? How did you name the company?
Well, you know, it's a when you know it makes a lot of sense, but it actually comes from the phrase mother lode, right? Which is a term within mining for the principal vein of ore or metal. So it's a not quite a play on words, but it makes a lot of sense when you think about what we do and the ecosystem that we're creating. It all comes back to the mother lode, right? Hence Lode.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming and joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure chatting with you guys. Take care.